皆さんこんにちは、新平です。今回のポッドキャストのゲストは日本のポーカー界でもすでにおなじみのハイステークスポーカートーナメントプレイヤーのスティーブ・オドワイヤーさんにお越しいただきました。スティーブさん、はじめまして。
はじめまして、こんにちは。Steve です。
That's perfect. I mean, it's like perfect pronunciation. Like, how did you learn the Japanese?
Well, I'm still learning. I'm still very much a beginner, but yeah, just about 4 months ago, I started using Duolingo. Like, I had a lot of free time. I had to spend about a month and a half in my wife's hometown, and I was kind of a little bit burned out from poker. I just gotten back from Triton, Jeju, and I just wanted something different to do while I was there. And I just started messing around on Duolingo with Japanese, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. I'm just going to keep going with it. And yeah, I don't think the pronunciation part is that hard.
I think
It's all phonetic, so it's very different from English. Like English pronunciation's a nightmare. Like it's really hard to get English pronunciation correct.
Yeah.
But Japanese, it's a little phonetic. It's not too hard to figure out.
Yeah, actually,
It's the vocabulary and the kanji. That's the nightmare.
Yeah. And the issue of kanji is that you literally have to memorize, right? Like you just there's no combination and anything. So yeah, that must.
Yeah, I've been, like I said, about 4 months now, and I've maybe memorized 15 kanji or so. I'm trying to learn. Now that I'm like completely confident in hiragana and katakana, I've started spending more time on trying to learn kanji, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
The more intricate ones with lots of strokes, it's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, the minimum, I think, like bare minimum is 3,000, and if you want to read newspaper, it's like 10,000 or something.
Yeah, it's going to be a lifetime of work now, and I've really put myself out there. So like it's part of the thing, because I really do want to become fluent. And part of the reason why I made that Twitter account was like to really let everybody know, like, I'm going to do this, and if I don't, please push me to keep studying, and if I'm not improving, I'm a failure. And, it's just to put myself out there so that I just had to do it. Like once I had learned katakana and hiragana and katakana, I was like, all right, I gotta let everybody know that I'm trying to do this, and if I don't get it done, if I'm not improving, that I need to have extra motivation for people to be like, why aren't you getting better?
Yeah. Maybe someone like talks shit about your Japanese, and you're gonna be like, ah.
Or I don't want to show up to the next JOPT without having shown some progress.
Well, I'm sure that you will. I mean, throughout your career, like we're gonna touch, but I think one of the characteristic you have is tenacity. You just like don't give up and just keeps going. Like when you put your mind to it. So I'm sure that you're gonna make people like really like just like whoa, like Steve speaking Japanese, like next time.
Yeah, I mean, even the last few weeks when I was in Japan and I threw out some phrases, people were like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Come on, I don't even know the literal meaning of what I just said. I just memorized that "hajime mashite" is roughly like "nice to meet you." Like, I don't actually know what these words literally translate to yet.
Well, it's still cool to see you actually jumping into the Japanese culture, and we will touch on the Japanese trip that you just came back a week ago or so. Before we do that, I think we have to cover one of those mandatory PSA about your airline incident with your Lufthansa. I think the Japanese people don't know much about what happened, so if you can quickly what happened and the reason why we shouldn't use Lufthansa.
Yeah, okay, don't ever fly Lufthansa. A few years ago, the last time PokerStars did the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure in the Bahamas, I was flying from home. I live in Dublin, Ireland, and I was flying to the Bahamas, and I had one flight where I had to change my itinerary midway, and I ended up flying I was supposed to fly originally from, I think, Dublin to Frankfurt to Montreal to the Bahamas. It was like I booked it last minute and I just had like a really bad itinerary. But when I got to Frankfurt, I realized my Canadian visa had expired and I needed to get it updated. So instead of flying to Montreal, I flew from Frankfurt to London and then was going to fly London to the Bahamas. In the course of flying to London, Lufthansa lost my bags, and I had to get on the flight to the Bahamas without them. And they assured me, yeah, we'll get your bags to you by tomorrow. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm leaving the Bahamas, still don't have my bags. And probably about 5 or 6 days into the trip, I started tweeting a lot about it. And I was also it was like day 3 or 4 of the main event, and I was on the feature table, and I was really angry. And I just started in the middle of a pot, just looking right into the camera as I played my hand, ranting about how much I hated Lufthansa and they were thieves that weren't returning my bags.
I'm gonna have to fix robot voice during the break. Steve O'Dwyer,
worst airline on the planet.
Oh, he's doing it.
Give me back my luggage, you thieves. If you value your property, do not ever fly with Lufthansa.
And then that went a little bit viral, and then someone from CNN saw it and reached out to me, and they wrote an article on CNN about my situation. That was kind of towards the end of the trip. That was like maybe day 11 or 12 of the trip. So like I was about ready to go home at that point. And Lufthansa still wasn't doing anything to get my bags back. They were just ignoring me. And then when I was at the airport in the Bahamas getting ready to fly home, I got a message from an employee at Heathrow who runs a baggage reclamation company. And he sometimes does contract work with Lufthansa, so he had access to their files. So he saw my name in the article, looked me up on Lufthansa's customer database, got my contact information, and messaged me to say, I think I know where your bags are. I will help you. It was an Irish guy living in London. And by the time I was walking back into my apartment, he was putting my bags. He had found my bags and was putting them on a plane to me. And I got them back within like 5 hours of being home in Dublin. And Lufthansa in the article said, like, we are doing everything we can to get Mr. O'Dwyer and his wife his bags back. We are going to reach out to him personally and try to resolve this. And that was a lie. They never contacted me again. I've never been refunded for any of the problems because I had to spend an insane amount of money in the Bahamas to like buy, because I was there for 2 weeks, and my wife also, like, we had to buy so much stuff, like clothes and toiletries and new suitcases to put the new clothes we bought back in. So yeah, they still owe me a lot of money and have never made any effort to pay it back. Lufthansa. And I went even more viral a few weeks ago because I tweeted about it again in a reply about like airlines losing luggages. And my reply went really viral again, like got, I think, over 1 million views and like tens of thousands of likes and retweets. So I'm still finding ways to hurt Lufthansa's business.
Yeah. So
they've never made it right.
Lufthansa is...
So maybe that wasn't too brief. You asked me to be brief, but yeah,
but it's okay.
I have to tell them.
Yeah.
Don't ever fly with Lufthansa.
Yep. Lufthansa is forever in Steve O'Dwyer's list, right? Faux list. You have those lists.
Yeah, they're an enemy, a permanent enemy.
Yep. So yeah, that's one thing that the people I know, because I know a lot of Japanese players go to EPT and they probably use Lufthansa because that's one of the biggest airline, German company, and they might not know what happened. So this was a really good educational piece.
Yeah, and lots of European airlines aren't very good, but Lufthansa, like from everybody, like I have a lot of friends that also have bad experiences with Lufthansa. Like they're the worst of the major airlines in Europe for sure. I'd recommend really just anybody else.
Okay. Anybody else but Lufthansa?
Like I flew coming back from Tokyo. I flew KLM. KLM. I've never really had a terrible experience with KLM. I've had one not so great experience, but they're usually pretty good. Air France, I've had one or two like not so great experiences, but they're usually pretty good too. So fly somebody else.
Okay, cool. And moving on to your Japan trip, when I look up your Instagram, the oldest picture I could find was 2017. Was that your first time visiting Japan?
Yeah. My first trip to Japan was 2017. I had wanted to visit for a long time. And I started really like getting interested in Japanese food around the time I first moved to Vegas in like 2007. I moved to Vegas in 2006, but by 2007, I had never really had Japanese food. I worked at a Japanese restaurant.
Really?
As a kid. Yeah. My first job when I was 15, I got hired as a like busboy, like clearing tables at a brand new Japanese restaurant in my hometown.
Oh, wow.
And they fired me after like a month.
Okay.
They told me I could have as much miso soup, green tea, and oranges. They'd serve oranges to everybody complimentary for dessert. And they told me I could have as much miso soup, green tea, and oranges as I wanted. And I was a 15-year-old kid. Like I was like, all right, I'm just going to eat a ton of miso soup and tea and oranges every shift. And about a few weeks after getting hired there, the daughters of the owners of the restaurant told me like, man, my parents are really mad at you. Like you eat so much soup and oranges and tea. And then like about a week later, they stopped asking me to come to work. So, but I didn't really get into Japanese food until I moved to Vegas. And so I'd always wanted to visit like after I'd really gotten interested in Japanese food. And then my friends, Dan Smith, who's like, I think top 5 all-time money list.
Cowboy.
And Cowboy Dan. And my friend JC Alvarado, like the best Mexican poker player of all time. 2 of my best friends. We were going to EPT Monte Carlo in 2013. And we decided to make a fun swap where we said if any one of us wins the main event at EPT Monte Carlo this year, we have to take the other 2 on an all expenses paid trip to Japan. And I won.
Yep.
So because none of us had ever been to Japan, we all wanted to go. But it took 4 years for our schedules to line up so that we could all go together. So that was my first trip in 2017 with the 2 of them. And it was a lot of fun.
And after that,
very expensive.
Yeah. And after that, you've been to many times. For example, 2024 summer, Sapporo, 25th March, Yokohama, and even before that, you were in Osaka and many places. But this time, you started your journey from Kyushu area, like southern part of Honshu. How was your experience there?
It was amazing. My wife and I, like, we really want to visit like every prefecture in the country. We have so many places that we want to go to. Like during COVID, we started a custom Google map where we just started seeing like anything we saw on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok that looked interesting or delicious or kind of not the kind of thing you would see in a tour book, like that everybody knows about. Like we weren't adding Sensoji Temple or anything to the list. Like just anything that like would be that we'd forget about if we didn't add it to the map right away. So we have like now I think close to 600 locations all over Japan of places that we've added to the map, and we've been to a lot of them in Tokyo and Osaka and the other big cities. But there's stuff like in really far corners of the country that it's unlikely we'll ever make it to, but hopefully one day maybe we can. But we had never been to Kyushu, and I was playing the APT in Taipei, and it was really cheap to fly from Taipei to Fukuoka. So we decided, all right, let's go to Kyushu finally. So we came up with an itinerary where we went from Fukuoka to Kumamoto to Shimabara to Unzen to Nagasaki and then to House because my wife is Dutch and we thought it would be we've always wanted to go to House because we thought it's just going to be so funny.
Yeah.
It's so weird that place exists in the first place, and it looked like it would be fun. We thought it'd be fun even if she wasn't Dutch, but the fact that she is Dutch and that we know so much about the Dutch that it would be really, really funny to be there, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like everybody seemed to be having a great time, like a lot of like young couples having a romantic evening walking around, and then me and my wife just laughing hysterically. Like we were losing our minds. It was so funny. But everybody else seems to just think it's like super cool, and we were thinking, oh my God, why would somebody make a theme park about Dutch people?
I mean, like historically, Japan and Netherlands had
Yeah.
quite a good relationship. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's
They're very, there's a lot of even like Dutch loan words in the Japanese language. But yeah, and yeah, we went to Dejima where the Dutch trading post was in Nagasaki, and but still, like the biggest theme park in Japan is Dutch themed.
yeah.
Bigger than Disney World? Like why?
But you also had a lot of you mentioned like you're into Japanese food, and one of the interview you mentioned you like curry rice, and
Yeah, I love curry.
yeah. Do you have the spot that you always go back to?
I mean, it's just so easy to just say cocoa.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I
because like you can have a different meal every time. There's just such a wide variety of combinations. You can just come up with a new curry every time you go. But I think really the best curries I've had have just been like at random spots that I can't even think of off the top of my head. Like, just I walk into a restaurant somewhere, unplanned and just order the curry there and it's delicious. Actually, okay. I went skiing last year in Niseko.
Okay.
And the like ski lodge on Annapurna Mountain, they have like a curry that's just amazing. Like I don't know why the flavor is so good. It's like a very dark colored curry, like almost like chocolatey. But I had it every day. Like I was there in Niseko for like 10 days, and every day I went skiing, I made sure that was my lunch because it was delicious.
Nice.
And it came with like a Wagyu patty that was like gyukatsu patty over top of the curry rice. It was amazing.
That's cool.
That's maybe my number one.
Okay.
I might think of the one that I liked more, but that's the one I dream about.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, like Niseko is quite far, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
So it's not everyone's probably accessible. So
yeah, most people, it's not like I mentioned a place in Tokyo where like a lot of your listeners can hop on the train and go get it later that day.
what is your go-to Coco's the combination?
I always get, or not always, but often, like I'll get like a chicken katsu with like onsen tamago.
Okay.
And not too spicy, maybe like a 3-level spice.
Oh, still, it's decent. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll add cheese. Sometimes I'll add like some sort of vegetable in there. I don't know, but usually, yeah, that's my favorite. Probably is just chicken with onsen tamago.
Nice.
I always add an onsen tamago. I think that's
that's
the best.
Yeah. Speaking of onsen, like you're also an onsen fan. Did you go anywhere this trip?
Yeah, to Unzen,
Onsen.
on the volcano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the place we stayed at, but it was nice. It wasn't my favorite, like onsen ryokan I'd ever stayed at, but it was like we got a good deal. It was cheap. Food was really good. But yeah, I mean, I've been to Hakone a few times now. I went to what's the name of it? There's like a town northwest of Sapporo, Jozanke.
Okay.
It was like it seems like it's kind of a onsen town that's fallen on hard times. Like a lot of the hotels were closed up, but it was really beautiful. I was there in the summer, and the place we stayed at was really nice, like really cheap. Food was incredible, and it was nice. Like during that trip last summer, or I guess 2 summers ago now, it was so hot, like in Tokyo. So it was nice to get away and go to Sapporo, where it was much cooler. Yeah, I've probably been to 1 or 2 more before, but they're not coming to me right now. But yeah, anytime I get a chance to spend a few days at an onsen, I love to do it. Because that doesn't exist, anywhere else. Like you can't do that in other countries. It's just such a unique Japanese experience.
Yeah, I'm just imagining you with a bunch of Japanese guys and butt naked and just like
Yeah, I had a experience at that place in Jozanke where I went to the public onsen. And I walked into the locker room and there were 2 like really old guys, probably in their 90s, sitting there. One was like getting dressed in the locker, and the other one was sitting on a bench, and he was totally naked, but he had his like underwear around his ankles. It looked like he would like started to put his underwear on and then didn't, and he was just sitting there like wide-legged, And I walk in and they both look at me like who's this guy? The one who was getting dressed at the locker finishes and walks away. So it's now me and the guy with his underwear around his ankles. And he says very loudly to me, wrong country.
Really?
And I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? And he goes, wrong country. But he has like kind of a friendly look to him.
Like joking.
Yeah, no. He said it one more time, and then he looked like inquisitive, like he was asking like, what country are you from? I just think he got the words wrong, and I was like, oh, America. And he's like, oh, America, very nice. Like, like we had like a short conversation, but he had he was clearly like just trying to be friendly, but he picked the wrong word, and it made it sound like he was telling me like, you're in the wrong place, buddy, get out of here.
And also,
but he just wanted to know where I was from, and we chatted for like another minute or so in broken English. But it was a funny moment.
While his pants is in the ankle, and you were just
still completely naked with his underwear on his ankles.
Yeah, that's good. And you spend a lot of time in Japan, and every time I think you go there, you almost always go to Sumo.
Yeah.
And this time you actually went to stable, Nakamura Bear, and you said that you're a fan of Kayo, Julio.
Yeah, he's one of my guys. Here, I'll show you.
Hey.
My wife and I have, I think 15 of these of different guys, like all up around our apartment. Like my wife, like she does not like sports. Like she's like, I watch a lot of like American football and she hates it. And I watch a lot of baseball and she hates it. And then we found Sumo like a few years ago. And she was like, this is cool. Like, I like this. These guys are strong and cute and funny. And then we just started watching, and now like, she's as big of a fan as I am. So it's fun that like we now have like a sport that we both can watch together.
That's nice.
So yeah.
So you've been watching since 5 years ago?
About 3 years now.
3 years. Yeah. And Kayo is your guy. What's your wife?
I wouldn't say he's my guy. I think my guy is probably Atami Fuji. From Isegahama, who he almost won the tournament a few days ago.
Yep.
Unfortunately lost in the playoff. He's my favorite for sure. But Kaiho's like probably top 5 for me. But my wife found like you could have the experience at Nakamura Bay where you go to practice, and it just worked out with the scheduling. It was like the day after JOPT ended, and we were both able to go together. So we decided to do that. And plus, they do a unique thing. They practice it in the afternoon. They don't practice in the morning.
Yeah, they sleep,
So
right?
yeah, they sleep all day, and then practice. Or they don't sleep all day, but they wake up later, have a full lunch, and then practice in the afternoon. Whereas every other stable practices super early in the morning, and then they eat. So for someone like me who likes to sleep in and stay up late, it was much more convenient to go to their practice than any other one.
Nice. And actually, I think was it November or something? England, they hosted the Sumo circuit, and the first time in over 30 years. And you tried to get ticket, I think.
Well, we wanted to go, but then they announced EPT Malta. And so I was going to go to EPT Malta, but then I had to spend a month and a half in my wife's hometown. So I couldn't go to EPT Malta, and I couldn't go to London either. But I did find someone who had a friend who was going. So I asked him to buy me some souvenirs. And then they actually had a friend who had been the first time 30 years ago, who still had a program.
Oh, yeah.
So they offered to sell that to me as well. So I'm still waiting for that shipment to arrive. Like the guy said earlier today, he was going to the post office to send it, because I told him to hold on to it until I was home. So now he's going to mail it to me. So I'm going to have, like, we really have an insane amount of Sumo merchandise and memorabilia.
Okay. Maybe you can send me a picture later, so that
I can show you. Like, we have so much Sumo stuff.
That's cool.
It's really like our apartment is very Sumo themed. I can't just pick up my laptop and show you because it's pretty messy here at the moment. But
you can,
we got a lot of stuff here.
I mean, like you even wore T-shirts at the Trenton event.
Yeah.
Cool.
We went to the Danpatsu Shiki of Tokushoyu. And he was selling like special T-shirts there, available only on that day. So I bought his T-shirt, and then I wore it at a Triton final table, and he saw that and was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And I, sent him some messages, and then a few months later, about a month later, I was in Osaka for the JOPT and also the Sumo tournament, and I saw him there. And he recognized me, and we took a picture together.
Nice.
Now he follows me on Instagram. And
that's cool.
He follows my wife also. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's cool, like in Sumo, like how you can. They're very approachable. Like especially once they retire, they're working jobs around the arena. So like you could just go up and say hi. Like my wife went up and introduced herself to Hakuho. And,
really?
Yeah. The first time we ever went to Sumo, he was in the cafeteria sitting next to us, and my wife was like, "I'm going to say hi to him and ask for a picture." Like all of them have been so nice. Like the ones that we've met.
That's nice. Yeah, it was actually cool. Like I wasn't there in England one, but I followed all the YouTube highlights and how people were like really amazed, and it was funny to see Ura getting a lot of attention because I guess his name, right, like Ura, it's easy to remember. So
he's very, very easy to remember name, and his Sumo is so unique compared to everybody else that I mean, obviously he's going to be a fan favorite. And wearing the pink Mawashi. Good looking guy, of course he's going to be a fan favorite. That's my wife's favorite. My wife loves. That's
cool. Speaking of JOPT, you've been there many, many times. First time was it 22 or 21?
No, my first time playing poker in Japan was at TPC in 2022, I think. Yeah. It was when Japan was still closed. Like you couldn't just visit Japan. And my friend helped me get a business visa to come play JOPT in Osaka, or TPC in Osaka. Because he had told me like you're really popular in Japan, and I was like, I'm not really that popular anywhere. And he was like, no, seriously, like you have a lot of fans in Japan. You have to come. And I was like, all right. You know, my wife and I had been planning on going to Japan right when COVID was starting. There was going to be a Triton in Jeju in like February of 2020. And after that was over, we were going to go to Japan. So we had to cancel that trip. And then like 2 years later, we were still like, oh, we still want to go to Japan, but we can't. So then when that opportunity opened up where my friend was like, we'll help you get a business visa to come play this event, we jumped at the idea and I had so much fun. So then I think my first JOPT was when? The summer of 2023 or 2024. Summer of 2024. So it was about a year and a half ago. And I've played a few now. Yeah, I just got in contact with them. I saw what they were doing and it looked really impressive and I just wanted to be a part of it. It looked incredible what was going on there at JOPT. Like they had grown so much and I hadn't played any poker in Japan in 2 years or I hadn't played any tournaments in Japan in 2 years and I just wanted to check it out. And they've been great to me. We've got a really good relationship.
So you are the one that reached out to them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
I reached out to them. I was like, hey, like, I just wanted to let them know, like, I see what you guys are doing. It looks awesome. Like, if you have any interest in me coming, like, I'd be interested in talking to you. And they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you come.
And ever since, you've been, I think, 3 times, 4 times, something like that?
4 times,
Yeah.
I think. I played that first one in the summer of 2024. Then I played the New Year's. Then I played Osaka last year. And then this one. So yeah, this is my fourth JOPT.
So you've obviously been to many poker tournaments, highest echelon, Triton, to some university, poker club tournament.
I'm actually. It's funny you mentioned that. I'm sorry. Let me drink some water. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the university thing. I'm going back in a few days to defend my title. They're doing
Nice.
They're doing that event again. So I'm gonna have a chance to go back to back.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, in about a little over a week, I'm heading back.
defending champion.
Yeah, they actually held off the date of the event until I was going to be back from Japan. They were like, "We'll schedule it once you're home."
That's cool.
So
That's
I
cool.
told them I'm home, and they're like, "All right, we'll put it on the schedule now."
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mentioned like from the those highest echelon to the college or university tournament.
€5 buy-in.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe there's some bounty on you, but yeah, it's a very friendly environment, and you've been to many like atmospheres, different events. And what's JOPT stands? Like, what's your take on JOPT? What do you think about them?
I love it. It's very unique. Like Japan's poker scene, I kind of compare it to like the evolution that happened on the Galapagos Islands. Like
I don't know what is
like the islands where Charles Darwin studied
okay.
evolution.
Okay.
Like all these animals were so isolated and they kind of evolved in different ways. Whereas like poker in Japan was very isolated and it was very small and like didn't have any outside influence really. So it evolved in different ways. So like it's very different from the poker that I'm used to playing, but I just really enjoy it. It's a different feeling. Like everybody's competitive, but also having a lot of fun. And you have the music and you have the MCs walking around and the branding has like a very Japanese feel to it. Like it's all the branding is very thoughtful. It's not just like we're going to put up some Poker Stars or GG Poker banners and that's it, like everything is really planned out very well. And the dealers are fantastic. Yeah, just everybody's so friendly. Everybody's like well dressed, like for the most part, like Japanese fashion. Like people are so thoughtful about what they wear and how they look, and yeah, it's just a fun, stylish environment to be in. compared to a lot of what I'm playing normally, where like, you know, it doesn't feel so glamorous. Whereas like JOPT really has like they really try to put a lot of thought into everything they do and make it feel like you're in a special place, doing something unique. And I really appreciate it. Like, and you know, I'm playing much lower stakes than I normally am, but I feel like it's important, at least for me. Maybe not every high stakes player feels this, but for me, like playing at least a few lower stakes things per year, like kind of keeps me grounded. And like I still enjoy playing things like EPT main events. So like to really excel in those tournaments, you need to be comfortable playing with amateurs and very inexperienced players and kind of remember how they think about the game and not just how like the best players think about the game. Because if you're just playing things like Triton all over and over again and nothing else, like you're going to kind of forget like where you came from and how those kind of people think about the game and how they feel about the game. And doing that a few times a year really helps prepare me for playing things like smaller buy-in main events, which I still have a big passion for. You know, like a few years ago, I won the Irish Open main event, and like I just feel really comfortable playing in those environments, and I feel like I can really exploit players as long as I, you know, stay sharp in those kinds of fields. Like, of course, I'm gonna like, you know, play a lot of hands better than them, but like, am I really gonna play them as well as I can if I'm not constantly putting myself in situations where I'm playing against those types of players?
Yeah, you probably have to make a crazy overfold, hero fold, something like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, and staying sharp in those situations is something I want to still be good at. Like, you know, it's not all about just playing the highest EV tournament I can at all times, and like, or you know, I want to still win big main events and put myself in the best position to do that.
How was the players? Like I know that you played one of the feature invitational table, but the other lower buy-ins,
the stars table.
Yeah, lower buy-ins. Many players, amateur players, beginners players, and well, how was your thoughts on them? Those like level wise.
I mean, every time I play in Japan, like the quality of player has gone up on average. Like there's so many people that are really studying hard and trying to improve. Of course, you're going to run into people who are just like not very good. They're very inexperienced, or they just don't care. They're just there to have fun. They don't care about improving or studying or anything. But the average skill level of Japanese players continues to rise. You know, 10 years ago, there was only a handful of Japanese players playing. None of them were that great. Some of them were okay. And now, like, there's really so many great players. And then just the average skill level has risen so much. Like, it's just really competitive poker culture in Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of people pushing each other to get better.
I think a lot of materials out there, people going outside, for example, WSOP more frequently. There's more tournaments around Asia as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for them to practice as well. And
Yeah.
one of your strength is live tell. You capture opponent's tendency. And what's the most, how do you say, not common, but like when you look at player, like where are you looking intentionally? Which body parts and something like that?
I'm not trying to really ever look at one specific body part. I'm just trying to get like an overall picture. I want to kind of capture everything. It's hard to explain. Like I kind of just stare like at the neck area mostly, but like my eyes aren't too focused. I want to be able to see everything, and just like I'm not one of those people that like kind of subscribes to thinking like, oh, when this person's like, you know, when they twitch their cheek or something, that means they're bluffing. Like I don't think you can ever really get reads like that. I think how you do it is just kind of getting a full picture of their emotion and their body and their posture, and just trying to be comfortable at understanding like how their emotions might be changing based on their entire body language. So I'm never like, just staring at one single body part thinking like I'm going to find an exact tell from a movement here. It's just something that comes with like I've been playing live poker since 2004. Like, so I've got 20 some years of experience, and I've always kind of felt like the idea of some magical specific live tell is kind of bullshit, but like you can learn a lot about someone's emotional sense just based on their overall body language, which I think is a lot more helpful. So it's just something that comes with experience, I think, is just paying attention to people like in their overall sense and not trying to look for some micro tell that is going to tell you like, oh, they're definitely bluffing here, or oh, they definitely have it. Like, and of course I'm just wrong all the time. Like I am frequently where I'm like, oh, this guy, I really think he's bluffing here based on his body language, and I'm wrong. Like, it's a very, very inexact science. Anybody that tries to tell you some course where it's like, I'm going to teach you all the tricks and tells available, like it's bullshit. Like, don't save your money.
Okay.
Just try to pay attention to people while they're playing and try to just sharpen that skill. And it's not something that everybody's good at. Like some people have a very hard time reading body language. Like a lot of people, like, especially like autistic people might have like a very difficult time with that kind of stuff. But it's something that I think anyone can improve on, as long as you're paying attention at the table and just trying to get a full picture,
And full picture includes their attire and how they line up the chips
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, not just their actual body language, but like, one example I kind of give a lot is, say you're playing like, or at least this is kind of how I approach like early levels of like an EPT main event. Like if I sit down level 1 of an EPT main event and I see a guy who is like, maybe 45 years old, he's wearing a wedding ring, he's like kind of well dressed but not super well dressed, maybe like wearing like a button down shirt and like a cardigan, he's not wearing a hoodie, he doesn't have headphones in, he's got like a watch on, but it's not like too nice of a watch, maybe an Apple Watch or something. Like some guy who kind of looks like someone who might have won a satellite on PokerStars. And, maybe if this guy's from, if I think like, oh, this guy's got a bit of a Brazilian accent and we're in Paris.
Okay.
And I think this guy is an amateur who probably qualified for this tournament on PokerStars and is probably playing the biggest tournament of his life. And level 1, he does not want to bust out of the tournament. He does not want to fly 15 hours to Paris and then 30 minutes later have to call his wife and say, I made a big call against one of the best players in the world and I was wrong and now he's out. Like that's the kind of guy, like I'm going to stereotype you as someone that I'm probably going to be able to get away with bluffing early on in day 1. This is a guy who wants to, at least survive late in the day and call his wife and say like, I gave it a good shot. Like I made it almost to the end of the day. Like, I fought really hard. He doesn't want to call her 30 minutes later and say, yep, I'm out.
Yeah. I see.
Like, so like, just trying to come up with maybe what a backstory of someone who's unknown to you is. Like, where is this person from? What are they looking for? Like, what are they looking to accomplish in this tournament? What are they looking to accomplish today? And how you might be able to exploit that. Because for me, like, I'm just trying to make the most amount of money every time I play. And if I bust a tournament in the first 10 minutes, like, maybe I'll be a little disappointed, but like, as long as I made a good play, I'll be happy about it. Whereas like other people, they are there more for the experience. Like they wanna say they made at least day two, and you know, they want to get that experience of bagging chips and having an excited night where they're nervous but excited to play day two and maybe make the money, you know. So just trying to figure out what people's motivations are at the table. Like, are they here for the experience? Are they here to make the most money? And how do you adjust to that?
And
Is something that I think you can really make a lot of chips if you're good at that.
basically, you put yourself on their shoe.
Yeah, I just try to put myself in their shoes and try to figure out what their motivations are. And you can often get that a lot from just talking to people. Like you can learn, like, you know, where are you from? Like, you know, how'd you get into the tournament? You know, just asking them little questions. Like sometimes they'll just tell you, and that's valuable information.
Do you do that a lot?
Not so much, but I know some people that are very good at that. It's just kind of like pulling at small threads, you know, and getting some information out of people that they won't just tell you without you asking. But I don't do that too often, but it is something occasionally I'll, you know, start chatting people up, hoping to get a little bit of important information out of them.
Maybe.
I mean, sometimes it's much as just like in a pot against a guy. This happened in the Irish Open last year, where I couldn't really figure out what this guy had just come to the table. It was, I think, day 2 or 3. We both had really big stacks, and he had been at the table for maybe like 2 or 3 hands, and he hadn't said anything yet. And it's kind of, his ethnicity was a little ambiguous. Like I couldn't tell where this guy was from, and we were already in kind of a big pot. And I was like, I gotta hear what his accent is. Like, I can't remember what I asked him, but I kind of jokingly started chatting him up in the middle of the hand, trying to get him to speak so I could just hear what his accent sounded like, so I could maybe put him on the map somewhere and stereotype him based on where I thought he was from. Because like I think it was maybe this guy's French, and if this guy's French, I don't think I can fold. But like if this guy's a local, if this guy's Irish, like Irish players tend to be a little tight. I can probably fold. And like I think when he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, this guy's Irish. Okay. He's probably got it. And I think I went back and looked on the stream, and yeah, he had like aces, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
I'm glad I got him to speak to me because I was able to make a big fold.
Oh, that's cool. What is your stereotype towards a Japanese player? What are your thoughts on them?
Mostly like thoughtful. Yeah, like, I mean, of course, you're gonna have Japanese players who are not thoughtful and crazy and not trying hard. But I think like the average stereotype of a Japanese player at this point is like someone who's thoughtful, someone who's like at least dug into the strategy a bit. Probably leaning a little bit tight, but there are outliers. There are some really aggressive, crazy Japanese players. But I think Japanese players lean conservative in their play style. You know, they're not Italians. They're not like crazy, going nuts, bluffing all the time in general. Yeah, I mean, like competitive. They want to win generally. Like Japanese players are not out there like just gambling hard at the poker table. Sometimes they are, but that's my baseline stereotype of Japanese players at this point. I think 10 years ago it was like big gamblers. But now that poker's become such a popular, like, you know, game where people kind of consider it like a mind sport, more like chess as opposed to like, you know, baccarat. It's that stereotype has shifted gradually to the point where it is now for me.
Speaking of that, like I would like to ask you, you know, poker in Japan, it's quite polarized in either gamble or sports mind sports, and poker itself has the aspect of a variance, so it always has a variance aspect. How would you describe poker to someone that thinks either black or white?
Yeah, I mean, it's a card game, competitive card game where you're not playing against the house, and it has an element of gambling. Like, and the game doesn't work without that element of gambling. So, like, anybody can win a single hand or even a tournament, or someone who's bad can even go on like a huge run that lasts a full year. But like, so yeah, there's that element of gambling that makes it interesting. But when it comes down to it, it's a extremely complex strategic game that I think is just the most fun card game in the world. And it's awesome that it brings together so many people from around the world, and you can make friends. Like I've made friends with people from so many different countries. Like I've met someone from almost like everywhere at this point. I just have friends all around the world, and it's like a game that brings everybody together. And that's what makes it so special.
And also, strategy is evolving too, right? Like probably when you started, there's just people hardly doing c-bet to now, people just doing a lot of crazy polarized.
Yeah, I mean there were so many different styles that worked. Like you could be a really tight player, you could be a really crazy player, you could be a guy who limped a lot, you could be a guy who 3-bet like 40%. There were just a million different ways to win. Like it was much more of a what we call street poker. Now it's kind of converged closer to solver strategies, but you still have people that do different things. And I would say it's less interesting for me. Like I do miss those days of all these unique styles clashing, and how like different mixes of those types of players at a single table could really create some fun environments. But now most people have a baseline understanding of what the solver does. So it's kind of made the game a little more monochrome, maybe. There isn't kind of that beautiful rainbow of styles that we used to have. But it's still a great game. Like still nothing better.
And sometime once in a blue moon, a guy like Gambledore just came out and just crashed the whole party, right?
Gambledore. One of those characters with a different style that he had a good run.
Yeah, and just woof.
Very good run. It was pretty brutal for everybody.
Did you play with him? Same team?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually played with him probably about 2 years before he became world famous from Triton. He showed up at EPT Barcelona in 2022 or 2022, I think. And he played a 25K kind of one of the last days of the series, and he showed up at the start of the event. He's wearing a Santa hat, doing his whole like I'm Santa Claus. No, actually I'm Santa Claus, like refusing to tell anybody his real name, and just going all in constantly and saying like this is a summertime gift from Santa Claus to my favorite poker pros. And he was just like very happy to be playing with us. He knew who everybody was, and he was just like, I'm here to give you all gifts. And I think he was in for like 6 bullets, and I actually ended up winning that tournament.
Okay.
It was like maybe 40 or 50 total entries, and I was the winner of that one. So, when he showed up at that Triton, I was like, oh, it's that guy. It's Santa Claus. But now he's got the Gambledore nickname, which is, stuck.
What was his impression like among your high stakes players? Like, oh, well, that guy,
Yeah, we're like this is a interesting character. We never are upset to see a rich guy who's just happy to be there, blasting away and putting a lot of extra money in the prize pool. We're always happy to see someone like that. But yeah, and then we were very happy to see him show up at Triton. We were like, oh, this guy, he has the potential to dump a lot of money into the prize pools, and it turned around and he walked away with many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And we all had very bad trips.
But he left the trophy, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe he left the trophy behind. I don't know. I just know he left with a lot of money.
Speaking of the evolution of strategy, you mentioned last chip race podcast you were in, leaving one chip behind. Did you see that strategy in Japan?
Maybe once or twice, but yeah, that still hasn't kind of spread through at least the JOPT players. I mean, I've definitely seen it from Japanese players that show up at like EPTs and stuff, like the professionals, but through the just mainstream amateur crowd at JOPTs, I don't think that strategy has kind of made it to them yet.
Do you think that that's an effective strategy?
And even if it has, like, even like a lot of times when people do it, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. They don't understand why pros are doing that. They think we're just trying to stall, which is almost nothing to do with it. It's just, sometimes you're bluffing and you want to be able to fold. You don't want to burn that last chip when you can fold if they go all in. If you're bluffing, you're like, all right, well, I was bluffing. I can try to run this last chip back up. So that last chip is worth way more than the 1 millionth chip.
I think one of the piece Daro Carney mentioned, leaving one chip behind if you're on a PKO or something, and if you have a 5 BB, instead of going all in, you can put 4, and if the guy wants to get your bounty, they have to go 8 instead of 5.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and it's harder for them to create a multi-way pot. Something like that. Other strategy involves too, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play too many bounty tournaments. I mean, there's so many bounty tournaments online now, but I don't play online anymore. So I just play like a handful of like Triton or EPT bounty tournaments, like maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So I'm not too strong on the bounty strategy of leaving a chip behind. I mostly, if I'm in a bounty tournament, I'm just going on my vibes. Not something I put really too much time into studying. But I trust Dara on that. Dara's good at that kind of stuff.
So to summarize the Japanese player, the reason why they're leaving chip behind, if you're a super polarized range, typically on the river-ish, or I mean, you can go all in turn, but either you have a nuts or bluff, super polarized situation, you leave one chip or one BB behind and you go all in. And if they call you, you're good. If you're nuts, you're good. If you're bluffing, if they go all in on top of it, you fold and fight for the different hands.
Yeah, and often with that last chip, it's maybe like a 1,000 value chip. And if the blinds are 4,000, 8,000 with a 8,000 ante, you're going to get 10 to 1 at a minimum on your last chip. And often you'll get that heads up. And sometimes you'll get up to like 14 to 1 if there's like a raise and a call and then a 3-bet. So you're getting like 14 to 1, sometimes heads up or 3 ways. And all of a sudden you maybe have like 2 big blinds like right away. Like it's very, very valuable to leave that last chip behind if you're polarized on the river.
So speaking of strategy segment, throughout your career, as we spoke, we saw a lot of evolution of strategy. But what was the most, I would say, important or the most impactful poker theory that you learned for your career?
I don't know, but maybe, and I think I've told this story before on another podcast. I wouldn't really call this a poker theory, but I think the most impactful thing that I think maybe the most impactful thing someone ever said to me was the summer of 2007 during the World Series, a bunch of my friends and I were playing a series of, I think we were playing Sundays at someone's apartment. Like we all had our laptops out just playing all the Sunday tournaments. And I played a hand really badly, and my friend was like, well, why'd you do that? Like that was you played that hand terribly. I was like, I played it like that because I was on tilt. Like, and he was like, why would you be on tilt if you can just not be on tilt? And like that like really resonated with me. Like I was like, that's right. Like why would I just play a hand bad because I'm in a bad mood? I can just play a hand well always maybe I'm still in a bad mood, but like, just because I'm in a bad mood, that doesn't give me permission to play badly. Like, and that really stuck with me. So like, I'm always like, even though I might, on the inside, I might be steaming really hard, like I'm still trying to separate those emotions from how I'm trying to play optimally at all times. And it doesn't always work, but just that one little throwaway sentence my friend said to me almost 20 years ago, like has always stuck with me. And I think has really helped me from avoiding those kind of emotional mistakes that a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, wow. I mean, a lot of players struggle with that, and a lot of people work on mental games. I'm sure that a lot of high stakes players work on that. But do you do any like mental game training?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it would be valuable. And I know a lot of people who do it, but I don't know. My mental game training is just trying to get enough sleep and trying to enjoy my life outside of poker and have hobbies besides poker. I think that's what keeps me mentally reasonably sound. I wouldn't say I'm like, I don't think I have a perfect mental game by any means, but I feel like I do a pretty good job of it. And it's just, I'm just trying to enjoy life outside of poker so that I know, like, if something bad happens at a poker table, I'm not going to be too disturbed by it because I'm like, hey, life is good. Yeah, I just think it's like really important for people to think about. Like, there's no reason you have to tilt.
Yeah.
Like, you can just not tilt.
Yeah. That's a great advice, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do, but like you can separate those feelings. You can be tilted, but you can also just play normally. There's plenty of times where I'm very tilted, but I'm still playing how I would play if I was not tilted. Then
maybe you're not tilting. Like, what was that?
Oh no, I'm definitely. There's plenty of times where like if I'm watching some old footage of myself playing a live stream or a final table or something, I remember like I look normal here, but trust me, on the inside, I was so angry.
Wow.
Like I was fuming. Like I really inside, I'm like very emotional, but I try very hard to not show it, and try my best to not let it affect me.
That control comes with one of your strengths, self-awareness. Like you understand you're tilted.
Yeah, for sure. Like if I'm tilted, I definitely know I'm tilted. Like I recognize it and I try to acknowledge that I'm tilted and take a deep breath and realize like, all right, I have to still play well. Like I can't let this make me play bad just because I'm in a bad mood.
I mean,
it doesn't always work, like, but it works more often than not.
I think you already done like super fundamental of mental game. I mean, that's the first thing. So you realize, you acknowledge you're tilted, then you separate yourself from the emotion. I think that's one of the key system that the lot of mental game training things tells you. So I mean, you're bang on already. So that's why you don't need a mental game. I guess
it'd probably still help in some ways, but I'd rather sit on my couch and play video games when I have free time and not talk to some guru.
That's good. Other than the tournament strategy, like when a tournament, there's a different stages, beginning, bubble, final table, short-handed, heads up, different stack sizes. And when people start learning poker and they might get like lost, like what to learn. So those people who wants to learn tournament poker, which area would you say to focus on?
I think focusing on just like the fundamentals of pre-flop, like that's really where you get your base. Like, I mean, most of your decisions in your poker lifetime are going to be pre-flop decisions. So if you have a poor pre-flop base, like the foundation that everything else is built upon is going to be incorrect. So like start with the most high frequency decisions you're going to encounter. Like, so pre-flop, single raise pots, button versus big blind, cutoff versus big blind, like those kinds of spots where the ones you're going to see the most often. Even for me, that's still what I spend the most amount of time on. It's just the very basics, making sure that base is fundamentally strong, and then spending less time on the more intricate, rarer spots. Like, I don't spend too much time looking at 4-bet pots, under the gun 7 versus hijack. Like, I've spent very little time on that kind of stuff. Like, it just doesn't come up that often. Like, and hopefully I have some gut instinct in those spots that are good enough to get me by, so that I can spend more of my time on things that I'm going to see often.
And
also, like, final table, like ICM stuff is very important, but I don't spend that much time on it. Like, you're gonna have your biggest value decisions there, but like final tables are often very unique, like with some true wild cards at the table. Like, you might have some amateur at the table who's like doing some crazy stuff or playing insanely tight, and like you can just kind of go by vibes at that point. Like, I've spent a lot of time on ICM final table stuff, but like I don't obsess over it too hard. Like, I'm just trying to still solidify fundamentals. Like, that's what I spend the most amount of time on.
For the
And that could be bad strategy. I don't know. I'm not this is not really my area of expertise. Like I still learn a lot from my friends. Like, I'm out of my group of friends, like I'm the dumb guy. Like I'm coming to my friends for advice way more often than they're coming for me for advice. So I'm not the best person to be asking this, but I'm better than the average person to be asking.
Well, definitely way more than better. But when you study pre-flop in that situation, which stack size do you study the most?
I spend the most time like probably below 50 big blinds. Because like often like I'm late registering tournaments and not coming in with a huge stack, but up to, I don't know, I still spend a lot of time like on up to 100 big blinds, and then beyond that just like less. And then some like mixed stack stuff also is important to know. Like if someone on the table has 15 big blinds and everybody else has 100, like that changes things a lot. Because that 15 big blind stack is going to have an open jam range that no one else is going to have. They might have some limps. They might have min raises. They might have 2.5x big blind raises. Like, so spending time on unequal stacks is also important too.
If someone is, for example, going to JOPT in the first time, like a big tournament, would you advise them to max late reg, then just do short stack, push and fold?
Probably not, because I think if you're going to something like JOPT for the first time, like, it really depends on what, if you're going to JOPT for the first time and you're trying to make the most money and you're studied in short stack stuff, then yeah, sure. But like if you're just like someone who's interested in poker, you're new to poker and you want to go and have like a fun experience, like register from the start. Like try to get a few hours of entertainment in. Like it just depends on what your motivation is. Like that's what I tell people. Like a lot of times, like I get asked like hey, like I qualified for EPT Monte Carlo. It's gonna be my first ever like big buy-in main event. Like what do you suggest I do? Like what advice do you have for me? The first thing I always ask is like, are you there to have fun or are you there to make money? Or like, are you a professional? Are you a semi-professional? Are you an amateur? Like, what's your motivation for wanting to play this tournament in the first place? And if they're like, well, like, yeah, I want to make money, but I also want to have fun. I want it to be a fun experience, something memorable. I tell them like, yeah, like, play from the start. Like, try to make some new friends at the table. Like, don't be too hard on yourself if you make a mistake. Like, just have fun. Like,
And
like when it comes down to it, poker is a game. Like, we're all supposed to be having fun. Like, we're not supposed to be playing the game if we're not enjoying ourselves. Like, some people do. Some people hate poker but are good at it, so they play it. And but that's not what most people are doing. Most people are playing poker because it's a fun game to get together with your friends or acquaintances and compete with each other a little bit, but also have some laughs and maybe make some new friends.
Yeah. And experience all the emotion roller coaster too. And,
Yeah. And you don't get that if you're just max late regging very often.
You're just hoping.
Yeah.
Speaking of, when you see the strategy, like what's the strategy that a lot of people misuse or overrate it? Like people just like kind of throw it out. That they I guess they know the strategy, but they're like not using correctly.
I mean, I think it's the one chip thing right now.
Okay.
Like, I think many people just completely misunderstand what people are doing. They just see like their favorite players on Triton or whatever doing it all the time, and they don't understand why people are doing it. They often just think like you're just trying to stall for a pay jump or trying to stall to get closer to in the money. But 99% of the time, you're stalling because you're polarized on the river, and also like similarly to that, like people raising to like 80 or 90% of their stack instead of jamming at a final table, hoping that like if there's some crazy action behind you, you can fold and still leave like 4 big blinds behind. Often that's like very misguided to do that. We've seen some really big mistakes people have made, like raising to all but 4 big blinds or whatever, and then there's like 2 all-ins, and then someone makes a fold when they definitely shouldn't do that. My friend Sam Greenwood has a Substack where he writes like daily posts on poker strategy, and he's written pretty extensively on people doing that at the final table, and it's not good. Usually you just go all in. Sometimes you can leave some chips behind at the final table, but I think people are often very misguided when they do it.
And one of the strategy poker, you told me like it's basically it's very complex. Oftentimes you're making mistakes. And one message that you gave at one of the podcasts is don't be afraid to look foolish. If you're not trying hard enough, if you always try to be correct, it's hard. Like, what would you say about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't want to feel that like moment of shame when they are eliminated from a tournament, where they turn over their cards and they're worried that people are going to like kind of snicker or laugh a little bit, like look at this idiot, like he tried to bluff here with this hand, like what a dumbass. Like if you're not occasionally sheepishly turning over like a stupid bluff, like you're probably not playing aggressively enough or heroically enough. Like sometimes you just got to be brave and trust your instincts that like, even though I might look stupid, like I think this is the right play and I'm going to go for it. Like, I don't know. I'd rather people think like, oh, that guy's an aggressive moron than think like, oh, that guy's a coward. Like, I think generally things go better for you if you're brave as opposed to being a coward. So sometimes being brave is going to make you look really stupid when you turn over that hand that eliminates you from the tournament and you walk away while everybody else is like looking at each other like, what was that? Like, that's not occasionally happen to you. Like maybe you're not playing aggressive enough. I don't know. I've just always kind of like erred towards the side of it's okay to look stupid sometimes if you're doing something a little aggressive, than it is to err towards the side of I'm going to be more conservative. I'm going to play, I'm going to try to last longer in the tournament, like try to survive, be a bit more of a coward. I think things work out a little better for you if you're a little more aggressive. Unless you're already way too aggressive, then maybe I think you should dial it back, but I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And also, generally speaking, I think toning down the aggression is easier than the bringing up the aggression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least that's worked out for me. Like I'm always just trying to push the limits a bit further than I might be comfortable with, just to see how it works. And if it doesn't, then maybe I'll bring it back in a bit.
Yeah. And nowadays,
like I certainly don't have a reputation for being like one of the craziest players. Like I'm definitely, I think I have a pretty middle of the road reputation at high stakes. Like I don't think many people think I'm insane, and I don't think many people think I'm like a giant coward. But yeah, I'm trying to err towards the side of testing the limits.
And you wouldn't receive the nickname Sheriff if you're not, watching everybody else's aggression.
Yeah, I got that probably like 10 years ago or something. Although that probably was a bit more for like, I went through like a very big phase of just being a giant hero caller. Where I think everybody had gone way overboard on the aggression factor, and I was just making huge hero calls all the time, and kind of went through a period where I was right very often, and I was just on like a huge heater, just hero calling people all the time in like 2015-ish, and then that nickname kind of stuck.
Yeah, one of the hand that a lot of Japanese player ask is Ace-10 hero call. That's a sick call.
The river card, a 3. It's a brick. Sipple misses its draw. Ace high is the best hand. O'Dwyer checks for a third time.
I'm all in.
And Sipple bluff shoves the river.
Roger. What are you doing to me?
This is really tricky. Last time Raj did this, he was stronger than the drinks at the players' party. But this is not how most players are going to play their bluffs.
Good call.
He calls!
It's over.
Good call.
Incredible call.
Ace high.
With that hand, Steve O'Dwyer wins.
Wow.
When going back to the looking foolish, nowadays you can always look onto a solver and you can see the right play. And do you think that would hurt people to just kind of try to be within the solver approved play?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, in live poker especially, there's always opportunities for you to get a little bit of information that allow you to make an exploitative decision. Like just making, or just paying attention to people's like, body language like we talked about earlier, and just trying to figure out what emotional state they're in, and just kind of maybe shifting what you think their ranges might be in this situation, and then still trying to play in a way that the solver would kind of agree with if you altered this person's range based on what you think their changes might be based on their emotions and live reads you have. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a solver expert. I do work with them, but I'm not too confident in speaking about solvers. I'm more just of like a vibes-based field player still, like kind of a dying breed at this point. There aren't too many guys left like me, I think. But yeah, I mean, there's always ways to adjust and exploit.
So you never want to forget about your gut instincts, because instincts is something that based on accumulated data that you just don't.
It's still very valuable. Just trusting yourself and saying like, well, I don't think the solver would agree with this here, but like this is valuable, like my level of experience, accumulated knowledge. I think I can deviate here because I trust myself that, you know, I might be right more often than the solver in this situation.
Now, I would like to dive into your life story because not many many podcasts or article really covered you. There's a mention of you moved around because of your father's was in the military, and and one of the thing that you were living in Germany. Like, how old were you?
We moved to Germany in 1987 when I was 5 years old, and I lived there for 5 years. In a town for 2 years called Fulda, which was at the time right on the East German border before Germany was reunified. And then for 3 years in Mainz, which is near Frankfurt.
Okay.
And then in 1992, we moved back to the States. My dad got transferred to like far northern New York.
So 5 to 10, it's quite impactful, like in the time. What was that within the base like you were living?
Yeah. I lived on the military base. So, I mean, I had very few interactions with Germans. Like mostly I was, you know, surrounded by Americans. Like only Americans lived on the base. My friends were Americans. Like I learned a tiny bit of German, which like I remember almost nothing of it at this point. Like I can count to 20 and say, Ich bin ein Amerikaner, like I'm an American. That's basically all I remember.
And when you moved back, when you were 10, and you're still moving a little bit around?
Yeah, the last place we lived in while my dad was in the military was upstate New York, in a very small town called Seneca, kind of maybe like 3-hour drive from New York City. And then my dad retired from the military and he got a job teaching high school outside of Philadelphia. And that's where I went to middle school and high school, in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And then I got accepted into East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina. Pretty much the only thing people know about, or people outside of America know about Greenville because of Mr. Beast. That's where
he's from.
Mr. Beast is from Greenville and has all of his studios in Greenville.
Okay.
So he's kind of put Greenville on the international map. But there's a big university there. And I lived there for 5 years while I was studying. I was studying broadcasting, specifically like radio. I had a bunch of jobs in radio as a student, like internships, and had some job offers to work in radio after I graduated. But by then I was already starting to make a little bit of money playing poker online. I guess my 4th year of being a student at the university, I started playing online. And by the time I graduated, I had made a little bit of money. And decided like, I'm just going to take this chance. Like I'm going to move to Vegas and see if I can make it as a poker pro. And I had a few rough years at the start. It didn't go so well, but I made a lot of very valuable friends at that time. Like, you know, Ike Haxton and Justin Bonomo and Dan Smith and Scott Seaver. And we all just kind of found each other in that 2007, 2008, 2009 era. And then after Black Friday, I was still kind of struggling up until Black Friday. And then that was when I moved to Europe, got my Irish citizenship and started playing EPTs. And I just kind of finally got out of my rut and just went on a giant upswing from that point on.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I want to ask like why would you like went to the broadcasting and stuff, but like was it you always your child's dream, like wanted to be on radio?
No, I don't think it was a dream. It was just like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I was in school and I was enjoying my time being a student. and I just had to pick something to study. And I'd always been interested in radio. Like I just kind of, my parents would always have the radio on
Okay.
all the time when we were kids, like, you know, listening to talk radio or sports. And, but by then, like, I was already kind of becoming aware, like, the radio industry is not going to be the same in the future, like, compared to, like, what it was when I was growing up. Like, it was very obvious by the time I was about to graduate, like, social media, like YouTube was starting to become very popular. And I was like, you know, by 2006, I was like, I don't know if staying in the radio industry is going to be that lucrative of a job opportunity. So
Yeah.
I'm going to see if this poker stuff works.
Yeah. Definitely you wouldn't make $47 million in radio industry. Right? Yeah.
Well, I still haven't made $47 million. I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But,
Lifetime
cash for
earnings.
$47 million.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of your first few years in Vegas, and you told this story all the time, but probably like many Japanese people doesn't know about like how tough was right after Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a huge bankroll at the time. I was mostly playing like high stakes live tournaments, which at the time, like high stakes meant like 5 to 10K buy-ins. Like there really wasn't the super high roller scene back in 2009, 10, 11. There was like one 25K a year at Bellagio. There was a 25K and 100K in Australia, but I'd never traveled to Australia. Like those tournaments just hadn't appeared yet. It wasn't until like 2012-ish where super high rollers became like a standardized part of tournament schedules. But I was in huge markup. I was getting backed by Ike Axton and some other guys. So I was like pretty broke. And then Black Friday happened, so I couldn't play online anymore. But I had to keep playing. Like I had to make all this money back for Ike and them that I had lost with them staking me. So they paid for me to come out to Vegas for the summer because I had moved back to North Carolina a few months before Black Friday. So they helped me get back to Vegas, and I was like just super broke. Like didn't have any money anymore because all my money was on Full Tilt. Because I'd been playing cash games on my own money on Full Tilt when I wasn't playing tournaments. So yeah, I just slept on Scott Seaver's floor all summer, and they staked me in tournaments. And I had an okay summer. I won a tournament at Bellagio at the end of the summer that got me close to being unstuck. So then they sent me to Europe to play EPTs and stuff and get my Irish citizenship. And shortly after that, I chopped EPT London main event. And from there, I was fine. You know, I had some years that weren't so great after that, but like, you know, overall, like I've done very well since then. Very comfortable, very happy with the trajectory of my career since then.
Yeah. At the one point, you had just over a 400K makeup. And
yeah, something like that, like 430,000 or something.
Yeah.
So I had to make that much in profit before I saw a single cent.
Yeah. And back then, 400K is almost like worth $1 million right now, like equivalent of the.
Oh, more. I mean, compared to, yeah, I mean, like people don't really do makeup deals anymore. That's like kind of a thing of the past. That's not too many people are staking people like that anymore. But that was just an enormous amount of makeup for someone at that point in poker, because it was hard to play a tournament above $10,000 buy-in. Like, and it was, you know, you'd only get to play those a few times a year. I mean, even playing tournaments of 5K buy-ins was like impossible to do like on a daily basis. Whereas now, like if you're willing to travel like nonstop throughout the year, you can play like 5, 10, 25K buy-ins, you know, many times a week, as long as you're willing to travel to whatever the biggest series is. But back then, like 15, 16 years ago, like it was very hard to play over $1 million or $1.5 million in buy-ins per year. Like almost impossible unless you went to Australia to play the Aussie 100K challenge. Whereas now, like it's quite easy to play $5 million in buy-ins if you can afford it in a single year. Like if you would have asked me like 15, 20 years ago, like what is the high stakes tournaments? What is that going to look like? Like what are schedules going to be like? I would have never guessed like you could play like 100Ks almost nonstop throughout the year. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, like Triton itself has 4 stops yearly.
Yeah, 4 stops where it's very easy to play like 2 million in buy-ins in a single Triton if you run badly. Like if you have a bad Triton and you have to rebuy a lot and you don't cash, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
It could be real tough. Like I did not have a good year in Triton in 2025. Got real expensive. But like I'm very conservative with bankroll management. Like I'm too old to be going broke at this point. So like, you know, I don't think it's a big secret that a lot of pros sell a lot of action to minimize variance. Like I don't want to be 43, 44 years old and be like, oh shit, I'm broke. Like too old for that. Like very, very conservative bankroll management.
Yeah. And like I can't go all of your tournament history because it's, you know, a lot of first prize, a lot of memorable events. And you always mention that one of the memorable one is EPT main event, Monte Carlo. You already mentioned that 2013. Yeah. And one of the 2022 Irish Open is also in your heart.
Yeah.
Recently, you made the biggest cash at the Triton, over $2 million. But compared to those, like money, right? Like the winning tournament probably means way more for you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like winning, that's the feeling I'm always chasing, is even if it's a smaller buy-in tournament, like it feels great to win a tournament and have that trophy and say like, I beat everybody. Like, yeah, I had a cash for like over $2 million in Triton Montenegro, but like it was a 200K buy-in. I cashed for 10 buy-ins. Like I had a very bad trip in Montenegro that year. Like I was $1 million in the hole going into that tournament from that series. So like, yeah, I cashed for 2 million, but like my profit on the series was like 800,000, and I sold a lot of action because like 200K is a giant buy-in. Like I'm not putting up 200K in a tournament. I'm not putting up anywhere near that in a tournament. So like, yeah, my personal profit from that trip was like quite small. Like it's not $2 million, nowhere close. Like, you know, I came out a slight winner after selling action in that series. Whereas like Irish Open main event, like I had 100% of myself. Like, you know, it was a 1K buy-in, like, and it was in my hometown. The Irish Open is the second oldest poker tournament in the world. Like only the World Series main event is older than the Irish Open. Like nothing else has the history of the Irish Open besides the World Series. So like that's like a really special tournament. And like it was a huge field. Like my wife and some of my friends were there from town. They came in on the day of the final table to watch me win. Yeah, it's just an incredible experience. Like, you know, excuse me, and I cashed for like 330,000. Like, but that was so meaningful. Like that, like I was fighting back tears when I won that tournament.
Yeah. And also,
it's like never before.
Yeah, the interview itself, like it really different. I watched that, and it felt different. That you mentioned that you almost holding your tears, and
yeah,
you were not playing any poker 6 months prior to.
Yeah. I had been on a huge downswing during COVID. Like I got crushed online. Like I think on GG I lost like $1 million during COVID. You know, I did better on party poker. I played a lot on party poker and Poker Stars. So like I didn't overall lose that much, but like on GG I got crushed, and that's where all the high stakes, or the majority of high stakes, was during COVID. There was some big stuff on Stars and Party Poker, and I did okay there, but I was just like in a bad mood, didn't want to play, was burned out from playing online for 1.5 years straight. So I just took 6 months off. I just didn't have the desire to play. Actually, I mean, the first live tournament I played after COVID started to die down a bit was in Cyprus. I went and played like 2 high rollers right before my friend's wedding in Greece. And I won one of those. So like I was really happy about that in September of 2021. But then I took a 6-month break and then came back and played the Irish Open and then won that. And yeah, it was like I just had to scratch that itch of live poker that one time in Cyprus, and then I was like, all right, I still enjoy live poker. I'm not going to quit poker. I'm just going to take a break. And then took that long break, came back really motivated, and won in Dublin at home.
Yeah, and I've never been to Irish Poker Open. But last year, someone that I know was there, and it looked like really fun. It's almost like
It's the best.
Yeah, it's almost like a people's tournament, is it?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, they have done such an amazing job at making sure that even when you're not playing, there's stuff to do. The bar is open 24 hours a day. You know, there's just a lot of activities, and just like that Irish hospitality, like you can't go there and just not make new friends. Like I always tell people, like you should really come and try it. Like you know, it's not the buy-in. There are some bigger buy-in tournaments now, but like, you know, the main event is quite affordable. There's such a huge variety of small stakes events and mixed games. Like there's really something for everybody. There's 24-hour cash games. Like the location is great. It's in a really nice part of Dublin, really quiet part of the city, but very close to the city center. It's I can't recommend it enough. I'm so excited to play it again this year. I always am looking forward to it.
Yeah. You mentioned that there's something for everyone, and this
Mhm.
year they're hosting 5 deaf tournament.
Yeah, I think they did that last year as well. I don't know about previous years, but yeah, there really is something for everybody. I think they got pretty big turnout for those events. People traveled from all over the world
Oh wow!
to play.
And
It was really impressive, like how many people came from around the world who were deaf just to play in that event.
yeah, that's the one thing about poker. Like it's for everyone. Like if you're from somewhere else in the country, you don't speak English or anything, you just know the rule, chip and chair, and you can enjoy
Yeah.
the camaraderie in the game. And I think that's something that I really enjoy that too.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and that this year it's March 26th to April 6th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, the last day is on my birthday, so
Yeah, let's see.
I'm hoping I can celebrate my birthday with another main event victory. That would be ideal.
And you're
And I came pretty close again last year. I got 50th in the main event out of like 6,000 last year, so I was crushed when I busted. I really thought I was going to do it again.
and your lucky chair is still there.
Still at the venue somewhere. I lost it 2 years ago. It got mixed in. I bought it with me because it was here in my apartment, and I decided to bring it back and try to get the luck out of it again. And it was very unlucky, but I was still going to bring it home. But then I got drunk one night, and then it got mixed in somewhere with other chairs, and I haven't seen it since. But
So
if I see it, I'm going to take it back home again.
yeah, so if that's a black chair that has a tape on the
Yes.
backside of
On the handle.
and the handle.
Yeah.
So if you're at the Irish Poker Open, check out, and that's the
Yeah, that was my lucky chair from the year I won.
yeah. And speaking of a lucky chair, like you have a lot of lucky charm things.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
like the lucky stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most not notorious, but known one is a mango from Macau.
Yeah.
2017. You had a picture.
Lucky mango. Yeah.
Lucky mango, and you ate that too afterwards.
Yeah, after I won the tournament. Yeah, I have there's a Chinese woman who's like a huge fan of mine. She sometimes plays high stakes. Like not too big, but you know, she'll play APT main events and things like that. And every year I would go to Macau, or every time I would go to Macau, she would always bring me a gift and say like, all right, this is your lucky gift this time. And one year she had flown from the Philippines to Macau, and she bought me a Filipino mango and was like, this is for you, this will be lucky. And I was like, all right. And I just put it on the table, and 3 days later I won the tournament. I was bagging up the mango with my chips every night. I won it. I beat Fedor Holtz heads up. It was like over $1 million for first. And after I won it, I sent it to the kitchen in the back, the poker room, and had them slice it up for me and ate it. It was delicious.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because when you received that, it was like super green. And when you won, it was like
by the end of the tournament, it was perfectly ripe. It was well timed.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as we mentioned, Irish Poker Open lucky chair story. The guy who was chip leader moved the chair, and you sat down, and you won the whole tournament. And the guy who was sitting was finishing second.
Yeah. We did the redraw with 24 players left, and he was at the same table as mine from 32 down to 24, and he went on a huge heater. He just busted a ton of people, ran a stack up to giant chip lead. And then we redrew, and I was like, I'm going to steal his chair. Like, that's the lucky chair. Like, look at how many chips that guy has. And then it just became my lucky chair. Yeah. So really from 32 players down to the winner, the person who was sitting in that chair just dominated the tournament. I was just lucky that it was me in the end for 24 down to 1 and not 32 to 24 like him.
And you brought back the chair and then brought back next year the tournament.
Yeah.
Then,
I asked the tournament director after I won, I was like, can I bring that chair home with me? And he was like, yeah, I'll let you keep it as a souvenir. So I had the chair here in my apartment for a year. And then when I went back to play the main event the next year, I brought the chair with me. But then it was very unlucky for the 3 starting days I played. And then on that last time when I busted, I got very drunk and with some friends and meant to bring the chair home with me, forgot, and then I couldn't find it from that point on. It got mixed in with all the other chairs.
Yeah, let's see.
Because it's a giant venue, like just 120, 140 poker tables or something like that. Wow. So hard to find one specific chair.
Let's see if the mojo is back, when you find that again. Yeah. And other stuff, for example, that 2010 taxi driver gave you a lucky bill, lucky bracelet.
That was kind of that was the beginning of me collecting lucky charms. I was like, it clicked. He was like, here's your change. Like, oh, I'm giving you a $2 bill. Like, these are lucky. They're very rare. And I was like, oh, this is lucky. Like, I should hold on to this. Like, if somebody tells me something is lucky, I should believe them. And now I have a giant collection of things that people told me were lucky.
Yeah. Do you still have the bill?
Somewhere. Okay. It's definitely in a closet over there, but it would probably take me like 20 minutes to find it.
So you have a lucky drawer, basically.
Yeah, I have I have a bunch of different, because it's been so long now. It's been 16 years of collecting lucky things. So I have different bags and drawers where I've groups of various lucky things from like 2011 to 2013. Here's a stack of lucky things that I got then. But generally, I only keep the most recent lucky stuff with me when I travel.
What is your...
Usually at some point, if I go on a bad streak, I retire all my lucky stuff. So like I had a very bad year last year, so I'm retiring all of the things that I thought were lucky from 2025 because they clearly were not lucky.
No. Did you collect anything from the Japanese trip?
I don't remember. Did I? I visited some shrines, but I didn't. Like, I only, like, if I go to a shrine and I see some sort of thing that I think, like, oh, this charm might be lucky, like, I really have to feel it. Like, if I feel like, oh, this is the one, I'm going to get that one. But I think this trip, like, the shrines I visited, I wasn't really feeling the lucky vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, sometimes there's shrines specifically for, like this one, like, this is a lucky spot. Like I'm still learning about kind of how shrines work.
Yeah, okay.
But like, different shrines, people go there for specific reasons.
Yeah.
So like, if it's a shrine where someone's going to like, they're trying to make more money at work, like there, I'll definitely be like, oh, I got to get something from here. But yeah, I don't think I got anything this trip. Although some people at JOPT gave me like little gifts. So like, I don't know, some of those I'm gonna set aside, and maybe I can, even though they didn't tell me this is going to be lucky for you, I can maybe see, maybe this will be lucky for me.
Have you tried the ritual, like the I don't know the English word, like main guy from shrine, like archbishop or someone just like gives you like a little ritual to cleanse your aura? Have you tried?
Oh no, I need to do that. Actually, I do. Hold on, I can grab something. I had dinner with Juno Barra.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And his daughters gave my wife and I a gift. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
June's daughters gave my wife and I these little
wow.
handmade daruma, little paper daruma. This one, and then this one with the little hat.
That's cool.
So, I mean, it's a daruma. Like this should be good luck. So,
yeah.
This is definitely something from my most recent trip that it was a very, very cute gift from his daughters.
Yeah.
So I have them up on my shelf with some other lucky things. So yeah, that's definitely the premier lucky item I got on vacation.
I was only able to saw from the picture, but there was some legendary karaoke time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great night, very memorable.
Yeah.
I got pretty drunk, but not as drunk as some other people. We had a blast. My wife and I really had a good night that time.
What's your go-to song?
I mean, I did. I only sang one song, and I've definitely done this before. Van Halen's "Panama."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed like the crowd kind of knew what the song was. They were singing along, so it was a good pick.
Yeah.
I didn't know that song was very well known in Japan, but that's just an easy karaoke song for me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think the Van Halen, that song specifically, I think it was really catchy in Japan back in the time, I think.
Oh, nice. I had no idea. I just was like, oh, that's an easy one I can do. I've done it before.
Nice. Bang on. That's cool. Yeah. Going back to, actually, I'm wrapping the things up. And I would like to ask some of the question more towards the, how do you say, a player's perspective. So, for example, like when you spend more than 20 years of your poker career, and what is a skill that you learned from poker that you're applying to the other parts of your life?
Just like trying to be patient. I mean, you have to be so patient in poker tournaments. Like you can't just make things happen. You have to wait for the right opportunity. So in life, sometimes like you just have to be patient and not try to force things that aren't there, and wait for the right opportunity. I think that's just a easy thing to carry over from poker to real life. Is just learning to be patient and not getting frustrated when things aren't going exactly as you planned, or as you want them to go. That you just need to keep your nose down and head down and keep working hard, and eventually, with hard work will come opportunities. Or at least hopefully, some people work hard their whole life and get unlucky and don't have the right opportunities, but there's really nothing else you can do other than be patient and wait for the right chance to present itself.
Actually, I want to touch on the lucky thing that we talked about the variance. But for example, if the player is starting their poker career and the person may have potential, but because of the bad variance, they never able to lift their career off, or
Mhm.
the other way around, maybe they started playing poker and had us a huge upswing, and he thought that he's a poker god. He quits job and like go there, and actually he's not meant to
Yeah.
be. So like, how would you deal with the variance, and how, like what should player expect about variance in the poker world?
Some of the most important words ever spoken to me was in my poker career was when Ike Haxton first started backing me. He was like just so you know, like if you are in deep makeup, we will not drop you. Like we expect that you will keep playing and get out of makeup. Like are you okay with that idea that maybe you might be in makeup for a long time, like, and you have to play out of it, like, and I was like, yes. And he was like, all right, just like, at some point you will run far worse than you ever thought was imaginable. So just be prepared for it. Like, this was in 2009. So like people knew there was variance in poker, but I don't think anybody really quite understood how bad it could be. Like Ike did. Like Ike definitely like understood the mathematics of variance early on. Like, so yeah, like before you quit whatever you're doing in life to try to chase the dream, like you have to understand, like the variance is insane. It's not even not for anyone. It's for very few people. Like there are very few people in this world that are built in a way that they can handle the idea of having, like, you could have multiple losing years in a row. And that can be really difficult on your mental state. So yeah, you just have to be prepared for things to go far worse than you ever thought was possible before you make that decision to become a pro. Like you have to know, like, things can go very badly for a long time. It's really hard. Like it's not like it was when I started 20 years ago, where it there was bumps in the road, but it was much easier to survive as a professional early on, like 20 years ago, than it is now. It's so competitive compared to where it was when I started.
Yeah, because of the it's so competitive that edge gets smaller. So the
Yeah,
variance
edges are so small.
yeah.
Like there's so many more professionals. They're so much better than they were. It's really tough.
Yeah. So to prepare for the variance, just have a lot of bankroll, like a good bankroll management, and
Yeah.
perhaps having a plan B, something like that. Just like
Yeah. Have a plan B. Just be way more conservative than you think you need to be. Like, because variance can be crazy. Like you really, like, there's very few players that have reached like a sample size in tournament poker where they can be confident, like, their results are where they should be based on their skill level.
and especially tournament, right? There's just like so much variance, and live tournament itself, like you can't really try so much compared to online. It's like you can only play
Yeah, I
so
mean,
much.
there's just only so many you can play per year. Like, you can only be at one location on the globe at one time and play in one tournament at a time live. So like, no one ever reaches like the long run in live poker. Like,
I think this is kind of Japanese thing. Like we like checklist. So, what is your checklist to become a great poker player? If you're like a tick 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 tick.
oh man, have a several years of money to survive.
Yeah.
Like,
Emergency fund.
separate from your bankroll. Yeah, like emergency money. Not just emergency money, just like have like certain amount of money set aside that you need to pay for food and rent and all those kinds of things. Because like you might not make money for a long time. Like you might just have some very bad years. Like you need to have a few hundred buy-ins maybe for your main tournament game. You have to study extremely hard. You have to, you don't have to, but you should have like a group of friends you can rely on to share information with and study with. You have to have like a strong fundamentals, like we talked about earlier, like, just starting with the pre-flop base and then working your way up, like a pyramid, like, the stuff at the bottom needs to be the pre-flops, those decisions you're making the most often. And then, those like rare 4-bet pots can be near the top of the pyramid that you don't spend that much time on. And just have a strong mental game, like be healthy, get enough sleep. Don't let poker like completely consume your life. Like make sure you have outlets outside of poker to socialize with people and talk to normal people, because poker players are not generally normal people. You need to have people that you talk to outside of poker that make you stay grounded a bit more, because poker can make you a bit crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do you have any book recommendation?
I hadn't read a poker book in probably 18 years up until fairly recently. And then Ike recommended the Poker Brain by Matt Matros.
Okay.
And it's just a great book for players of all levels, helping you to adjust how you think about the game. I found it very valuable. Highly recommend it.
Anything other than the poker related?
You mean like another poker book?
No, sorry, outside of the poker related, like just normal book
Oh,
or any.
Oh yeah, I can show you.
Yeah.
I got a new book in Japan.
Oh yeah.
This book just came out earlier this month, like at the beginning of January. It's Sumo and Design.
Oh wow.
And it has just like all these amazing, like high quality photos. Like it's about like Kecho Mawashi.
Oh okay.
And,
Yeah.
Like look at like these like really detailed photos explaining about this kind of stuff, and also like the kimonos that they wear. It's like a really beautiful book. It's in English and Japanese. It's just amazing. Like, here's a picture of Ura. We were talking about Ura earlier. In this stylish kimono.
Oh yeah.
Or not kimono. What are they called?
Yukata?
Yukata. Yeah. Kimono are women. Right?
I guess.
Are there male kimonos?
Well, I cannot say that. I'm not sure about that. Wow. I have to look it up. Yeah. Because yukata.
Yeah, but yukata. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. I think yukata is.
But yeah, amazing book. It's so cool.
Okay.
Just like a lot of like very close up pictures of like the insane craftsmanship that go into Kesho Mawashi.
Yeah. And they make it for customized too, just like, really detailed. Yeah. It's
It's just beautiful craftsmanship, really impressive stuff. Like anytime I've been like at the Kokugikan, like I love going to the Sumo Museum and looking close up at the whatever old Kesho Mawashi they have on display. It's really awesome.
That's cool. And at the end of this podcast, do you have a message to Japanese poker community?
Just I hope you all enjoy poker, and I hope to get to meet some of you next time I'm back in Japan for JOPT. Like, please don't ever be shy. Like, come up and say hi if you want to introduce yourself to me and have a chat. Like, I'm always happy to meet new people and talk to Japanese poker players. And hopefully in the future, like, I can speak to you more in your language instead of my language. Like, I'm really going to keep working hard on Japanese.
That's great to hear. When can we expect you to be back in Japan?
I don't currently have anything planned, but I hope to be back again at some point later this year. But at the moment, I don't have anything scheduled. We'll see.
But definitely
probably
soon.
not at least for a few more months.
Okay.
But maybe summer, maybe fall, something like that.
But still, like this year.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I'm always trying to visit anytime I can.
Yeah, it's cool. Thank you so much for your time. energy and knowledge, and that was like quite a full of story. I really do appreciate, and hopefully a lot of Japanese players like watch this and get to know you better, so that they're just gonna come up and like, hey, like I like sumo too, like like blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I'm always looking to meet Japanese poker sumo fans because it's really hard to get tickets.
Yeah.
If you know how to get sumo tickets, like we could be friends. Like it's so hard. Like there have been so many days where I want to go, but I just can't get tickets. Yeah. So great way to make friends with me is tell me you got a special connection to the JSA for tickets.
Do you know what Tanimachi is?
Tanimachi? No, I don't.
It's basically a personal, like a backer for the sumo. So
okay,
yeah, it's like so maybe you can, one day you can become those.
I do want to do that. I do have a favorite. My favorite stable is Futagayama. They have a very popular YouTube channel where they focus on like the food that they cook. And my wife and I love those guys. But I can't find a way. I don't know if it's possible to be a foreigner and support the stable.
I'm sure that you can. Like we'll figure out.
I'd love to learn because I'd love to be one of their backers because I love those boys. They have a lot of very young wrestlers and they're very sweet kids, and I want to see them succeed.
Okay, let's see if we can connect someone then to.
Yeah, if you know anybody at Futagayama stable, like I'm a huge fan, and my wife and I want to visit. We want to go to a practice.
Let's see. Again, thank you so much for your time and this opportunity.
I had fun.
Yeah. Today's guest was high stakes tournament poker player Steve Oldwyer. Mr. Oldwyer, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And also, if anybody is coming to Ireland for the Irish Open, please let me know. Please come say hi. Like, I highly recommend it. You still have about 2 months to plan that kind of trip. Please come visit me in Ireland. It's awesome here.
Yeah.
Great country, friendly people, and the most fun tournament that you can possibly travel to go.
Yeah, a lot of people go to EPT, but then an Irish Poker Open should be a next step because I didn't mention, but for the Japanese passport, you can stay in Ireland for 6 months.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can stay 6 months, and you can, if you're under 30, you can do a working holiday for 1 year. So maybe you can get rich.
Please come visit Ireland. It's a beautiful country, friendly people. I think Japanese people would really love it here. And if you come play the Irish Open, please come introduce yourself because I want to welcome you to my country.
There you go. Again, Mr. Oldwyer, thank you very much.
Thank you. I had a great time.